So I think in my opening speech, I mentioned that I am very passionate about startups and entrepreneurship. And one thing I wanted to do this year is also raise up some of the incredible female founders who are solving a lot of issues that many of us face. So I have named this, this panel Fearless Female Founders Who Are Solving Female Issues. And to kick us off, I want to invite the CMO and co-founder of LEIA and the CEO and co-founder of LEIA Health. So please welcome on stage Leyla, Ali, and Astrid Gyllenkrok Kristensen. There you go. Hello.
Hello.
We can get comfy. We have some time to chat. So, hi, welcome to Women in Tech.
Thank you.
It's a friendly bunch.
It really is. It looks super cozy. Thank you for having us. But before we start, can we ask a question to the audience?
Sure, do it.
Okay, everyone. So, by raise of hand, who in here has faced issues with your health where you feel not seen, not heard, or not validated in that experience?
It can be everything from menstrual to hormonal health, pregnancy, postpartum, and then menopause.
Menopause. Yeah.
Look around, guys.
Maybe we should have asked, raise your hand if you haven't had this.
Right?
I think we might have been clearer.
So true.
So, looking around, this is the reason why we're here today.
Yeah, exactly. And for people that want to know about what is LEIA, could you tell us a little about what you do and how do you use tech to solve this issue?
Yes, so a bit about me. I'm a biotech engineer as a background, educational background, and worked previous years with cancer research as well as in life science and medtech industries in various roles. And I've always been passionate about helping people improve their health. But it wasn't until I myself was experiencing issues with my health, and more specifically menstrual health, that I realized, just as we saw, that I wasn't alone. And it was so many of us that were experiencing the same things and not getting the adequate with care. And me and my co-founders basically got obsessed with trying to solve this issue and stop normalizing a life where we're living with these chronic conditions. Majority of women, up to 80% of all women, live with a chronic condition or something in relation to menstrual health, hormonal or gynecological issues in which they're not receiving enough information, care, or guidance at all. We were one of them, and we decided by using the latest evidence-based research, making that knowledge that existed, that we simply were not getting access to, we're making that accessible, but not only that, we're making it actionable by using your health data to create personalized health plans.
Nice. And I know you had very different conditions, but similar experience. So maybe you want to explain, what does LEIA Health do?
So LEIA Health is a parental health app where we're kind of digitalizing and personalizing the entry into motherhood or parenthood. And we came to this because I'm a mother of 3. Before having children, I lived in London and around the world doing kind of big tech jobs or innovation. And the second I became pregnant, I felt my identity shift a bit. The reason being that I felt so supported during pregnancy. I had like 10,000 apps to choose from, instant access to my midwife. Everyone's asking me how I'm feeling and touching the belly, all these different things. But the second I gave birth, that all shifted to the baby. Yeah. So the questions, the products, the apps, the healthcare, and I felt so incredibly isolated in my journey as a new mother. I didn't know what was healthy, what wasn't healthy, was a red flag, was not. I had no clue it takes a year for the body to hormonally, physically, and mentally recover. And because of that, I did every single mistake in the book for the first child, and second, and third, because there was no journey. I didn't know that I was supposed to look out for my own recovery and understand that there were very systematic approach on how to really optimize that journey and make sure you have a healthy recovery. Yeah. And that kind of lack of knowledge, and meeting my co-founder, who at that point was co-founder, was building natural cycles, and her having problem with birth injuries and being bounced around in healthcare for 4 or 5 years before getting a diagnosis, we again realized is not just us. No. It's not the exception. We are the rule. Today, 90% have issues after giving birth, and 80% go undiagnosed. So we built our product for a way of really kind of digitalizing that journey of, empowering women through insights about the issues they experience, so they can take informed decision in that journey. And that's what LEIA Health is today.
Yeah. Nice. And I think as well, when we were speaking about, you use tech to kind of help people get to the point where they can get the diagnosis and the help they need. Yeah. And then with Ovuli, you're helping people once they get the diagnosis. Just getting a diagnosis doesn't really do much. You still have the symptoms, you still have the problems, you just have a title for it.
Exactly.
So I think you're on the money. And I mean, you said you were collecting data and making personalized platforms. Yeah. And I mean, people have been giving birth since the dawn of time, right? So there's a lot of data on femtech, right?
So
you would wish so.
Yeah.
You would wish that was, and I get that sometimes, but what's the problem? You've been squatting in fields for centuries. How hard can it be? And it's yes, would you like, if you broke your leg, if I would give you a bottle of whiskey and saw off your leg? No, there's innovation, right? You have to go with the times and you have to learn. But the issues with a lot of female health is that there's no data. There's this massive, massive gender data gap. Yeah. And what that actually means is that historically, all clinical trials, all research, all product, all development, R&D is based on the standard male anatomy. And that means that the doses you take and the medicine that is, developed is all based on the male anatomy, the crash test, all these different things. And as a woman, we have been underrepresented in also funding a research project, but also how we're involved in these research projects, which means that we're systematically mistreated, misdiagnosed, and not heard in these different circumstances. And by collecting data with all our products, we are building a foundation on the future of female health that is actually based on real world data. And I think that's key for both our products.
Yeah.
And I mean, have you, Leyla, seen an impact of not having this data, and how did you overcome it?
I mean, in almost all aspects in life. I think even in everyday usage, our iPhones are designed after the male hand, or the fact that the bathroom queues are so long is the fact that they didn't take us into account.
Speaking to the right crowd now.
Guys, today you're going to think about it when you're visiting the loo. But within the women's health space, there aren't enough information or data, because with issues when it's affecting both gender, they've discarded us already. So imagine with issues that are only affecting us. We're light years away in understanding the things that are going on with our bodies, understanding why we're feeling the way we're feeling, understanding and tailoring treatments based on our issues. And this is so evident for example, the conditions such as PCOS and endometriosis. It takes on average 2 years to get a PCOS diagnosis, and over 10 years to get an endometriosis diagnosis. This means that women, and that's around 20% of the female population, are living with an impaired quality of life on a daily basis, being crippled with pain.
And I think, and I'll stop you there, because there are a lot of issues, but there are also a lot of incredible founders like you who are solving this. So I also don't want us to just focus on raising the issues, because you are delivering the solutions. And I think that's why your innovations are so important to society, because you're going to change the way the world works.
Preach.
And why is LEIA Health so important to society? And where are you now? How far have you come?
I think, if you look at the majority of female health products, it comes from your own kind of lived experience. It comes to a place where no one's going to solve this unless I do it myself. Yeah. And I think it's also a multi-stakeholder challenge, because first of all, it affects your health. We've talked about this, the lack of data, the lack of insight, the lack of products that actually meet our needs. But it also kind of spills over to the workplace. So when we started developing a health product, we also started hearing the majority of our users saying, I'm going to quit my job. because of I'm not supported in this, next stage of parenthood. And actually almost 40% leave their jobs after parental leave, and 30% go on sick leave after coming back from parental leave. So we were now taking our kind of health solution and also offering them to companies. So companies can help their employees being supported into this life stage, because it's a massive barrier when it comes to women in the workforce. In Sweden, we have it pretty good. But I mean, looking at the US or UK, you have a couple of weeks and you're supposed to be back. You're still kind of in the healing phase. And you have kind of no kind of regulations around it. So I think it's incredibly important to rewrite the narrative around women's health, to actually base it on real world data and actually show it from a health kind of economics perspective. It is costing society millions. It is costing employees millions, and it is costing, lives. Suicide is the #1 cause of death in new mothers in the UK 1 year after giving birth. These are things that have generational, consequences, and it has never been really kind of concretized or monetized in that way, where they understand like women are 50% of this population.
Yeah.
There is, we've had it of not being represented in trials, in medicine, in processes, in work hours, in anything in our, in our society today. But data is the key. We need to show it like hard, cold facts. This is what it's like. And this is what it's costing you as a society.
And I think that's why we're grateful for you. Look at this. I mean, you're speaking to the right crowd, right? I mean, so I know you mentioned that you're now working with employers. There's a lot of employers here, so you know where to go. But also in terms of, this is a huge stage. There is 2,700 incredible people. You are a startup. You are, about to skyrocket up on your trajectory. So what would you ask from this audience to support you and support us? I mean, you're helping us.
I mean, everyone here, just by being here and by working with tech or being involved in the tech space, you're a part of changing the narrative and closing the gender data gap. And you can also do more by using products like ours and contributing to our journey and our vision of rewriting the future of women's health. And so if you're dealing with issues with chronic conditions such as PCOS, PMS, endometriosis, menopause, we're actually expanding on our platform to test and looking for test users. So with your background, I think you can have insightful POVs, and also with LEIA Health as well.
Yeah.
We're hiring.
Yeah. They're hiring. Give them a call. And isn't that, our time's up. It's short but sweet. But also, isn't it amazing that I feel like it's such a female thing of like, I couldn't find it, so I just did it myself.
Yeah.
And now you're a giant company. Now you're actually, giving a solution to thousands of people. Yeah. And so I think that is great. Thank you for your contributions in femtech and changing innovation. And you will be here today, so
Please.
to come
up to us.
Speak to them.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Leyla and Astrid. And let's give them a big round of applause.